Alright guys, so today we're going to do an online lesson. It's going to start off our expressions unit. So after you finish your test, this is what you're going to do. And you've got 3 things that I need you to finish today. The first one is where we're at right now. We're going to start with our online lesson and our guided notes. So the first thing that you need to do is you're going to follow along and you're filling your notes page just like we do every single day. Whenever you get finished with those, you're going to put them in your binder, in your math binder, because you are going to need them for when we start class tomorrow. Okay, then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to go back to the Google Doc and you're going to work on the knowledge check. Now, the knowledge check is actually what you're going to hand in. So you need to write out your answers to the knowledge check on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, I think there's like 8 or 9 questions. Write all of those down, put your work on a separate sheet of paper, put your name on it. Whenever you get finished with it, I want you to put it in the box. Okay. Then we're going to move on to number 3, the quizzes review game. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Get your notes paper there out in front of you, and you should be on the front side. That kind of looks like this. It says writing exponential expressions. And so today, hopefully you think our target is really, really easy. All we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing expressions that have exponents in them. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is an exponent. So get in the box there where it says define an exponent. And an exponent is just a little number that is high and to the right of a regular number, or what we call a base. Okay, so if you look over here, we've got a little tiny number up here that is high and to the right. That's our exponent. Okay, this is called our base. Now, back to your notes paper. An exponent just tells us how many times we're going to multiply a base by itself. Okay. So an exponent tells us how many times a number is multiplied by itself. So go back over here. Okay. We're going to label the exponent. 4 is our exponent. So just so you have that in your notes paper, know that that little 4 that's high and to the right is our exponent. And 3 is our base. And all this is saying is we're going to take 3 and we're going to multiply it by itself 4 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay. Never ever do we ever take the base and multiply it to the exponent. We're never going to write 3 times 4. What this is saying is take 3, multiply it by itself 4 times. Okay. So let's take a look. What we're going to be moving into 2 different types of forms. One is called expanded form, and expanded form just means is where we're going to take it and we're going to draw it out. We're going to pull it all the way out. Like if you eat too much and your belly expands, we're going to make it bigger. And then the other one is called exponential form. And we call it exponential form because it has an exponent. So right now, all of these are written in exponential form. We're going to expand them out. Like we're just going to tell people what they mean. So 3 to the 4th power, that's how we read an exponent, really just means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay. So in expanded form, that's just saying take 3 and multiply it by itself 4 times. All right, so we're going to go over here and do the same thing for 8 to the 2nd power. 8 to the 2nd power says we're going to multiply 8 by itself twice. So it would be an 8 times 8. That's written in expanded form. Now be careful when you're writing this one because we're going to have to write 5 a couple of times here. It says 5 to the 6th power. And so that's just telling us we're going to take 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Multiply 5 by itself 6 times. Okay. So that's expanded form. Let's look at 3 more. These are on your paper. It looks like 5 to the 6 is repeated, so that's that same answer we've already had. Okay. All right, so 7 to the 3rd would be 7 times 7 times 7. Okay. 9 to the 4th would be 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. So in expanded form, all we're doing is we're looking at the base and we're looking at the exponent and deciding how many times we're going to multiply that base by itself. Okay. All right, so let's practice reading exponents. And I've already read them to you a couple of times. When we read an exponent, we are reading the base to a power of. Okay, so I actually want you to write this out because it's going to help you remember how to read these. So for example, in this first box here, it is 3 to the 4th power. Okay, so we're going to write that down. 3 to the 4th power. We always say the base first, and then the exponent is your power. Okay, now the exponent 2 can be read 2 different ways. The first one is the traditional way, 3 to the 2nd power. Write it down. Or when we see this little 2, when we move into the geometry, we know that it can also be said as 3 squared. Okay, so you can say it either way, 3 to the 2nd power or 3 squared. They mean exactly the same thing, and they're both correct. All right. Same thing goes for exponent 3. It can be read 2 different ways. The first one is the traditional way of 3 to the 3rd power. Write it down on your notes paper. Or the little 3 can mean cubed, 3 cubed. Okay, so regardless, the way we're going to read it is we're going to have the base first and then to the power of the exponent. Okay. All right, once you guys get those written in, I want you to flip over to the back of your notes paper, and we're going to practice just moving in between these forms, writing exponential form and then writing an expanded form. So our first section here is writing in with exponents. So we're going to have to look, we're going to have to figure out the base, and then we're going to have to figure out what the exponent is. Okay, so one, it says 2 times 2 times 2. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the base? Well, in this instance, the base is going to be 2 because it's what's being multiplied by itself. Okay, and we're multiplying it by itself 3 times, so 3 is our exponent. 2 to the 3rd power. Okay, let's look at number 2. 3 times 3. 3 is going to be our base because it's what's being multiplied, and we're multiplying it 2 times. So we've got 3 to the 2nd power or 3 squared. Okay. So now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and I want you to complete 3 through 10 on your own and then press play to check them. And as you go through and check them, I want to see you checking off your paper that you got them correct, or I need to see that you have fixed them on your piece of paper. All right, so let's check these. Number 3 on your paper should be 5 to the 4th. Number 4 should be 8 to the 4th. Number 5 is 7 to the 5th. Number 6 is 9 squared. Number 7 is 4 to the 6th. Number 8 is 12 cubed, or 12 to the 3rd power. Number 9 is 2 to the 7th. And then number 10 was just to kind of challenge you a little bit. On number 10, our base is going to be just a smiley face. Okay, so our base is going to stay the same. And we're multiplying that smiley face by itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so it should be our smiley face to the 5th power. In this unit, we're going to start using variables, and that means it's a symbol, so we just a little fun symbol there. Okay. All right, now let's move on to expanding exponential expressions. Okay, all right, so let's start with number 1. Number 1 says 8 to the 4th, so all we have to do here is we have to figure out how we're going to expand it, how we're going to pull it out, just like we did on the front side. So 8 to the 4th power tells me that I'm going to multiply 8 by itself 4 times. So on our paper, all that is 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. All right, so let's look at number 2. Number 2 is 7 to the 6th power. That tells me I'm going to multiply 7 by itself 6 times. So we write 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. All right, I want you to scooch on down there to number 7. On number 7, that one looks a little bit different. It says 4 to the 5th power times 4 to the 2nd power. Now, this dot in the middle is just another way to write a multiplication sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 4 to the 5th and expand it out. So I would have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay. And then I have another times 4 times 4 for 4 squared. Okay, so really in that exponential expression, we have 4 times itself 7 times. Okay, so when you go to do number 8, yours is going to look like that. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do 3 through 6, and then 8 all by yourself. Then press play to check. All right, so let's go ahead and check these. Let's go up to number 3. It's 9 to the 5th. You should have 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. You should have 5 of them there. Number 4, 11 squared. We were going to expand it out. It'd be 11 times 11. Number 5 is 22 cubed, or 22 to the 3rd. So we would have 22 times 22 times 22. Number 6, we have 3 to the 8th. So we should have 3 times 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 3. Ooh, big one. Okay. And then on number 8, we've got 2 times 2 for 2 squared, times 2 times 2 times 2 for 2 cubed. Okay. All right. So at this point, your notes paper should be filled in. It should be complete. And I need you to put that in your binder. Like I said, we're going to come back to that tomorrow when we actually evaluate exponential expressions. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the Google Doc page and you're going to complete the knowledge check. On the knowledge check, you need to get out a clean sheet of paper, just like if you were doing this for homework. Put your name at the top, and I need you to number every single question. Whenever you get finished with your knowledge check, put it in the box. If you don't finish it in class, you need to finish it up for homework and turn it in tomorrow.